Hi, it's Alisha Costanzo and welcome back to my channel. You're gonna notice at the end of this video, this is how it ended. I forgot to do an intro, so hello and welcome. I am going to be going through my writing challenges for October and probably a little bit of life stuff like kitties and cooking and some spooky weather things. So I hope you enjoy, and let's go first to me working on my worksheet for Loving Red 2. So I'm trying to decide what worksheet I'm going to do today. I have a whole bunch of them up on my computer, so let's go decide that together. This is the website I'm getting my worksheets from. She has a lot. So something I have is character arcs. I think this might be a little bit too much for today. Idea engine, which is, let's see. I don't know about that. And we have character quirks. Kill your character. I don't know who I'm killing in this book yet. Plot hole gapping, which I really need to do in one book that I'm already done with. The mini quest for my romance. This is how to use plot formulas. I think I'm going to use that for something else, honestly. This is one of the plot things. I'm going to put this in my writing journal. Yep. Make trouble. This is a contender in, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one, honestly. Seems like the most beneficial at the moment. So let's print that out. Okay, so I had one person respond to my Instagram poll for what writing tool in my toolbox I should use, and she chose the hardest one. Of course, I would expect her to, because she's one of my friends and former colleagues, Megan, and we are both very Englishy type people. So she chose dramatic irony, and I managed to fit that into my actual book that I'm writing rather than doing it as a side project, because it is a difficult thing to just kind of pull out of nowhere. I'm being climbed by a kitty right now, by the way. This is my kitty, and she's very clingy. Okay, you be there and be clingy. So first, I probably should explain. Alright, so my storage filled up. Sorry about that. I still have a kitty though. And trying to find a good definition of dramatic irony for you. So it says irony that is inherent in speeches or a situation of a drama and is understood by the audience but not grasped by the characters in play. So essentially what it is that we as the audience know something's happening and the character doesn't know it and becomes a major playing point in the plot, is what I imagine, or what I hope, what I'm interpreting. Here's an example of dramatic irony. So in Titanic, having one of the leads up on the balcony right before it hits the iceberg, it's so beautiful I could just die. That's an example of dramatic irony because we know something that the characters don't. They don't know that they're going to die in that ship. So I hope that makes sense. I did find, just looking at my horrible typing, I did find that I wrote dramatic irony into my story and I've been working on it for a while, this type of irony, because in the beginning of the story we are in both Winter's perspective and we go into Newt's perspective for a brief time while he's taking care of her father, and we get to see the first glimpse of all of the alphas. And her father says, well, we have 13 cycles this year with no remainder, and that means somebody from this clan needs to stay with Winter as well, and we don't have any other alphas, so I choose you because, you know, you've been loyal to our family and all these other things, been her only friend, yada yada yada. Well, for the first 8 of these cycles and these men that she goes through, she doesn't know she's getting a 13th. She thinks it's only 12. And then she finds out number 9 that it is, in fact, 13. And I wrote that into the end of number 9, where she actually talks to her father about it, but she still doesn't quite know everything. So, here's what it says. She says, yeah, learned something that surprised me. Swiping a few fries through a bowl of gravy, she chewed on her words, ones that she hadn't explored with Ash, but that had bothered her for the entire cycle. I didn't know I was going to have 13 alphas this year. An embarrassed smile had Amrock ducking his head, her father. Technically, you won't have 13 alphas. The 13th male is a beta. Because I'm the only one in this clan. Yes. Air burned her nostrils and tried to choke her, so someone from our clan will stay with me. Yes. Another bunch of fries pinched between her fingers, but they hung there, dry. Why didn't you tell me? Because you're going to spend the next few months thinking about who it might be instead of being in the moment as you're supposed to. Anger warred with nerves and acknowledgement. At least she knew now, but he was right. She'd hyper-focus on who that might be. All of the men here thought she was a brat, a brute, a bitch. Dread sank its claws into her guts. What if it was Newt? Wouldn't this whole thing ruin their friendship, as much as one she'd allowed over the decades? Winter shook her head. Okay, let me tell you about Ash then. So it's still revealing part of the dramatic irony, but also playing on the fact that we know it's going to be Newt as the 13th male, and she still doesn't. So there you go. There's me using some dramatic irony this month in my actual story. So yay, kitty. Yay, kitty. Alright, see you guys. Okay, so a little bit of an update. I am currently writing on my prompt, which is the steampunk genre, the werewolf hero, the thief heroine, and how they met. So I'm going to put up a picture right here. This is kind of what sparked the idea for this story, and I'll read it to you when I'm done. But it looked really interesting. She's got these keys dangling from her tentacle. She's got the arm that's cyborg mechanical. Can't really see if she's got legs or not underneath there, so I'm using it as part of her disguise. Even though she is part mechanical, to also have this extra thing as a distraction for her thievery and like compartments she can put stuff in. I don't know. It sounded really cool. I'm only like 250 words into this prompt. I don't plan on making it super long either, but I'm really interested to see where it goes. So I will read it to you guys when I'm done. I wanted to let you guys know that I also wrote my letter to my dad. I haven't mailed it yet, but I have it done. I am pretty on par with my extra 250 words a day. I have been doing consistently 750, and when I don't, I kind of bump up in a few days to make up for that. That's kind of just how my writing works, is that I don't necessarily write 750 words every single day, but the end total generally equals that, and it evens itself out, because we all have good days and bad days for writing. So, cat snoring over there. I pulled out my writer toolbox and I did my dramatic irony in my Wooing the Alpha story, so we are good there. Did I have to do anything else? I don't think I don't remember if I had to do anything else, guys. If it did, we'll talk about it next. But I'm feeling good on my writing challenges. I'm almost there on outlining Wooing the Alpha too, so here's hoping I can get all that shit done and bang out those 50,000 words for NaNoWriMo. Alright, I need to pee, so I'm gonna go and get some more shit done. Continue writing this prompt. I'll let you know how it's going. See you later. See, there's my writing prompt so far. I'm getting there. And I just checked. My other writing challenge was to fill out a worksheet. I totally did that. It was part of my Loving Red 2 plotting, which I need to do in November, December time. I'm going to be working on plotting at least basically all of the stories I'm going to be writing next year. I'm crazy. Yeah, but it's going to happen. So I discovered something new about that story with that worksheet, and so I'm very happy with it. I have other worksheets that I want to try out, and I'll show those to you guys when I do them. But I'm doing well. I'm going to finish up this last prompt, or this last challenge, which is my prompt, and get this thing out to you guys. So let's go get it done. Hey, you like standing on that chair? Hi. Hey guys, so I finished my prompt and I just wanted to read it to you guys real quick, so bear with me. I'm hand holding this and reading off my computer, so this should be interesting. Okay. The other guests had a normal mixture of reactions to her steam-powered tentacles. They were the perfect guise for her limp, the perfect distraction for her sleight of hand, the perfect ploy to get close to the Baron and his master set of keys. Jasmine adjusted her bodice, the thin boning not as flexible as she liked, but it did wonderful things to her cleavage, accentuated by the copper chains dangling between her breasts. It was stopped too on the way to her face, where her charcoal-lined eyes and enhanced lashes and red-painted lips could be used as tools for persuasion. And tonight, her satin gloves reached past her elbow to cover the mechanics of her fake arm. No one here needed to know that jury-rigged Jasmine crashed the exclusive party meant to charm foreign powers and businessmen, all of which held prized purses and trinkets to take. Many that have come close have lost them already, thanks to her third tentacle on the right. Baron Brodsky, however, was her way to the private rooms in the back of the giant house and the sparrow's leg that she meant to retrieve. Sure, while she was there, Jasmine would nab a few other objects that had high demand on the black market. The hog's knuckle, the camel's tail, the rhino's horn topping that list, all of which Brodsky had in-house. A tall black gentleman in a stark white took hold of her elbow, her left one, and smiled politely down at the copper ropes disappearing into her bodice. Miss, the Baron would like an audience with you. Would he? Right this second? Those enhanced lashes batted, and she let heat fill her cheeks. Yes, right this second. The man's grip tightened but didn't hurt as he ushered her forward past the dancing couples and the tables of appetizers and spirits to a room shrouded in flowing cloth, hardwoods, and copper accents. Sandalwood and patchouli transported her to a faraway place mixed with magic and promises. Jasmine blinked away the darkness and the expectation of seeing guards and women and others milling around the room. But Brodsky sat alone on a sleek white couch. It made the silky black of his suit pop against it, his dark hair and eyes catching the light enough to show their shine as she stopped before him, the steam from her tentacles lifting her skirts enough to be tantalizing. Her boots kept anyone from seeing her skin, but most didn't peer beyond the steam-powered appendages. Brodsky's gaze moved like a physical touch, catching on every little distraction she'd employed before he waved away the tall man. Miss Gusev, you've created quite an uproar in my little circle of friends. Jasmine smoothed the boning of her bodice with both palms, glad when his gaze dipped to enjoy her deep breath. How did he know her real last name? Have I? I suppose my little darling's disturbed more than a few of them. Indeed, Brodsky stood, showing her how imposing of a man he could be, bigger than the man who'd escorted her to him. Do they part for dancing? She smiled at him, looking out through those lashes instead of tilting her head back, Fingers traced the copper chains to straighten a phantom kink, and pheromones dropped a more earthy scent between them. I'm afraid they don't. Sorry to disappoint. Her tentacles lifted in their own dance, showing him the way they moved and lacked accommodation for an intimate affair, but they did touch him enough to extract what she'd come for. That is disappointing. Somehow his long arm reached beyond her mechanical barriers and drew her closer to him than Jasmine expected possible. Her gloved hands pressed against his chest as if she could force more distance between them, but his touch sashayed up the laces along her spine, finding flesh beneath the iron curls. The room seemed to shrink from the heat of it, and Jasmine struggled to catch her breath. You, however, are not. The darkness in his eyes parted as she finally craned her neck to examine them. The copper flashed behind them, and she realized her mistake. Baron Brodsky was not a normal spoiled elite. He lived by the moon, the one full in the sky tonight, and she put herself on his altar for sacrifice. Now tell me you cannot make those things dance. He lifted the keys from her tentacle's slippery grip and held her fast by the back of the neck. Can you blame a girl for trying? You can probably hear the rain because it's storming like crazy. It's out of power for a little while. But there is my writing prompt, my steampunky. I showed you the picture. It's not brilliant, but it was fun to write and to think of, and it only took me a couple hours, so it was fun. And I will post that on my blog, but otherwise I am done with my writing challenges for October, other than the words that I've been getting. I'll let you guys know how I did in my wrap-up, I guess, for Preptober. But yeah. Alright guys, let me know how you guys challenge yourself with your writing or editing or whatever creative project that you are working on. I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Thanks for watching guys, I'll see you later.